Hey look, a parcel's just arrived for me. Let's open this up. Warning, please read. Don't need that. Oh cool, it's the cloning gun I ordered. Let's try it out. 1 book. 2 books. 1 hat. 2 hats. 1 sheep. 2 sheep. Hang on, something must be wrong. 2 sheep. 4 sheep. Huh? Why isn't the word changing? 4 sheep. 8 sheep. 16 sheep. 32 sheep. 64 sheep. All this counting sheep is making me sleepy. Nouns, or naming words, can be either singular or plural. Nouns are singular when there's only one of them, like a bed, the bag, or 1 cat. Nouns are plural when there's more than one of them, like some beds, the bags, or 2 cats. It doesn't matter if there's 2 of something, 4 of something, or 100 of something. If there's more than one, it's plural. For most nouns, to make them plural, we just add an S on the end. So bed becomes beds, bag becomes bags, and cat becomes cats. There are some words though that have different rules for making them plural. If a noun ends in an S, SH, CH, or X, we add ES on the end. So bus becomes buses, splash becomes splashes, lunch becomes lunches, and fox becomes foxes. The same rule applies for some nouns that end in an O. So tomato becomes tomatoes, hero becomes heroes, and domino becomes dominoes. It doesn't apply to all nouns ending in an O though. We still just use an S for words like photos, avocados, and zeros. If a noun ends in a consonant and a Y, like city, berry, or story, we get rid of the Y and add IES. So city becomes cities, berry becomes berries, and story becomes stories. This rule doesn't apply if a noun ends in a vowel and a Y though, like key, toy, or birthday. Like before, we just add an S on its own. So key becomes keys, toy becomes toys, and birthday becomes birthdays. If a noun ends in either F or FE, like scarf, half, or life, we usually get rid of those letters and replace them with VES. So scarf becomes scarves, half becomes halves, and life becomes lives. This rule doesn't apply to all nouns ending in either F or FE though. We still just use an S for words like chefs, safes, and reefs. Some nouns stay exactly the same when they're both singular and plural. So sheep stays sheep, deer stays deer, and fish stays fish. Did you know that a different plural of fish is fishes? The word fishes is used to talk about more than one species of fish, instead of more than one of the same fish. The restaurant serves fish. She read a book about fishes. Some nouns, like child, foot, and mouse, are irregular. and don't follow any set rules when they become plural. So child becomes children, foot becomes feet, and mouse becomes mice. Although they don't follow any set rules, some irregular nouns have patterns in common. What do you think the plurals of tooth and louse might be? Why not pause the video and see if you can work it out? Tooth follows the same pattern as foot, so the plural of tooth is teeth, and louse follows the same pattern as mouse, so the plural of louse is lice. Okay, so most plural nouns end in s, but some end in es, ies, or ves. Some stay the same, and some don't follow any rules at all. Let's play a game. I'm going to show you a noun, and I want you to figure out how to make it plural. Folder. If you want, you can pause the video to give yourself more time. For folder, we just add an S on the end. Folders. Cherry. Cherry ends in a consonant and a Y, so we get rid of the Y and add IES. Cherries. Goose. Here's a little hint. Think about how we make the word foot plural. When foot becomes feet, we swap the double O for a double E. Goose is an irregular noun like foot, but it follows the same pattern. Goose becomes geese. Mango. This is an interesting one, because you can add just an S on the end, or add an ES on the end, so both of these are correct. Knife. Knife ends in FE, so we get rid of those letters and replace them with VES. Knives. Moose. Okay, that's a tricky one. You might have remembered how goose becomes geese and thought that moose becomes meese, but actually moose stays moose. When a noun becomes plural, sometimes other words like verbs, pronouns, and determiners can change along with it. Let's start by looking at present tense verbs. The duck is yellow. Let's make the duck plural. The ducks is yellow. This isn't quite right, because the verb is needs to change as well. When we're describing a plural noun like ducks, instead of is, we use are. The ducks are yellow. The same applies to the past tense as well. The bunny was tired. Let's make the bunny plural. The bunnies was tired. This isn't correct. When we're describing a plural noun like bunnies in the past tense, instead of was, we use were. The bunnies were tired. Verbs like has, does, and goes also change. Has becomes have, does becomes do, and goes becomes go. The burger has ketchup inside. The burgers have ketchup inside. Does the computer work? Do the computers work? The trophy goes on the shelf. The trophies go on the shelf. Most other present tense verbs follow the same rules that nouns do, just in reverse. So instead of adding letters at the end, we get rid of letters at the end. The apple tastes delicious. The apples taste delicious. The boy watches a film. The boys watch a film. The plumber fixes the house. The plumbers fix the house. So present tense verbs change when nouns become plural, but verbs in the past tense or future tense don't change at all. The rocket launched into space. The rockets launched into space. My brother will fix my car. My brothers will fix my car. The next type of words that change when nouns become plural is pronouns. When we're talking about singular nouns, we sometimes use pronouns like he, she, or it. But when we're talking about plural nouns, he, she, and it all become they. He is a gymnast. They are gymnasts. She is an astronaut. They are astronauts. It is a camera. They are cameras. We also sometimes use words like his, her, and its with singular nouns. But when we're talking about plural nouns, his, her, and its all become their. The gymnast warms up his body. The gymnasts warm up their bodies. The astronaut removes her helmet. The astronauts remove their helmets. The camera recharges its battery. The cameras recharge their batteries. The last type of words that change when nouns become plural is determiners. You can have a car, but you can't have a cars. And you can have an umbrella, but you can't have an umbrellas. That's because a and an can only refer to one thing at a time. Instead, you could use words like some or many. The words this and that also change. This becomes these, and that becomes those. This hot dog. These hot dogs. That pizza. Those pizzas. One determiner that never changes though is the. The clock. The clocks. The drink. The drinks. So when nouns become plural, sometimes verbs, pronouns, and determiners change as well. Okay, so let's quickly remind ourselves. Nouns can be either singular, where there's only one of them, or plural, where there's more than one of them. Most plural nouns end in s, but some end in es, ies, or ves. Some stay the same, and some don't follow any rules at all. When nouns become plural, other types of words, like verbs, pronouns, and determiners, sometimes have to change too. Let's play another game. I'm going to show you a sentence with some singular nouns, and I want you to write the sentence with plural nouns instead. Don't forget to check for verbs, pronouns, and determiners too. Here's the first one. The girl jumps on the trampoline. If you want, you can pause the video and do it all by yourself, or keep watching and I'll do it with you. Alright, let me just get my cloning gun. There we go. Okay, so we'll start by making girl plural by adding an s at the end. Then we'll make trampoline plural by doing the same thing. That's the noun settled. Are there any other words we need to fix? Well, jumps is a present tense verb, so it needs to change too. We'll do the opposite of what we did with the nouns and remove the s at the end. The girls jump on the trampolines. Brilliant! Here's the next one. The boss sends an email. Right, cloning. Perfect. Okay, so we'll start by making boss plural. It already ends in an s, so we need to add an es to the end. Then we'll make email plural. That just needs an s at the end. So the nouns are done. What other words need fixing? Well, sends is a present tense verb, so it needs to change too. We'll do the opposite of what we did with the nouns and remove the s at the end. Also, the word an can only refer to one email, so we'll need to swap that too. I'll swap an for some. The bosses send some emails. Wonderful. Here's the next one. That sheep is very noisy, the farmer shouted. Cloning time. Done. Okay, so we'll start by making sheep plural by doing nothing. Sheep is the same as a singular and plural noun. Then we'll make farmer plural by adding an S at the end. We've sorted the nouns. What else needs fixing? Well, is a present tense verb, so it needs to change too. We'll replace it with are. Shouted is also a verb, but it's in the past tense. That means we don't need to change it. Are we all done? Not quite. The word that needs fixing too. Let's swap it for those. Those sheep are very noisy, the farmer shouted. Awesome. Here's the last one. The butterfly has a colourful pattern on its wings. Cloning guns ready? There we go. Okay, so we'll start by making butterfly plural. It ends in a consonant and a Y, so let's remove the Y and replace it with IES. Then we'll make pattern plural by adding an S at the end. That's the noun settled. Are there any other words we need to fix? Well, has is a present tense verb, so it needs to change too. Let's replace it with have. What else? The word a can only refer to one pattern, so we'll need to swap that too. We could swap it for some, or even lots of. In this case though, I'll remove it altogether. Finally, the pronoun it can only refer to one butterfly, so that also needs fixing. Let's replace it with their. The butterflies have colourful patterns on their wings. Perfect.
Right, listen here you lot. I don't want to see any of you plural nouns have an apostrophe. Do I make myself clear? Apples, houses, dresses. Lose the apostrophe. The only plurals I want to see using apostrophes are the plurals of single letters. Mind your P's and Q's. How many L's in lullaby? And dot the I's and cross the T's. I want you lot to remember this because I do not want to have to repeat myself. The only time we ever use apostrophes for plural words is when they are possessive, to show that something belongs to a plural noun. If that noun already ends in an S, we just add an apostrophe on its own. The shoe's laces, the hedgehog's spikes, the teacher's conversation. But if the plural noun doesn't end in an S, we add an apostrophe and an S. The sheep's wool, the children's drawings, the deer's footprints. This is your final warning. The next plural word I see with an apostrophe will be getting 100 press-ups. Dismissed!
Did you know that some plural nouns have special words to describe them? They're called collective nouns, and most of them are used to describe different groups of animals. There's a flock of sheep, a parade of elephants, a school of fish, a swarm of bees, a slither of snakes, a tuxedo of penguins, a tower of giraffes, an army of frogs, a conspiracy of lemurs, a pod of walruses, an unkindness of ravens, a zeal of zebras, a bloat of hippos, and a flamboyance of flamingos. Okay, so let's quickly remind ourselves one more time. Nouns can be either singular, where there's only one of them, or plural, where there's more than one of them. Most plural nouns end in S, but some end in ES, IES, or VES. Some stay the same, and some don't follow any rules at all. When nouns become plural, other types of words, like verbs, pronouns, and determiners, sometimes have to change too. If you want to keep practicing, download the worksheet in the video description, which includes handy reminders of some of those more tricky irregular plurals. Many animals have more than one way to describe a group of them. If you had to invent a new collective noun for some animals, what would it be? Tell me in the comments below. Learn with Will is on Ko-fi, where you can support the channel with either a one-off donation or a monthly contribution. Just follow the link in the video description. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to learn more science, English and maths with Will, and let me know what you want to learn next by commenting below or emailing info@learnwithwill.co.uk.